Year's resolution have already broken it by today. And that's if you even made a resolution. Now, if you're the exception to that, I'm thrilled for you, and I support you, and I say keep rocking it. But if you've missed, maybe I could drop you a quick little message or two here that can help you not only recover, but get way beyond just making some New Year's resolution and make some real lasting change in your life. I mean, think about it. Most people don't even make a resolution anymore. Why? Because they've made them from years and years and years, and they know they're not going to follow through. So after a while, who wants to disappoint yourself? Who wants to be upset with yourself? Why even bother to set a new standard for this year? You know it's going to be the same as last year. If you're the kind of person watching this right now and you haven't shut me off already, then obviously that's not you. So the question is, what is it that makes us even want to make a resolution? I mean, it's an interesting question. Why is it at the beginning of a year we have this tradition? But it goes beyond tradition. It's something inside of us that makes us want to make things better. And I think part of it is the calendar gives us this idea that we can have a fresh start, that we can start from fresh and have this great victory. And it's really, the calendar itself is quite arbitrary. It's wonderful to use it, but if you didn't use it effectively, let's use the calendar to serve you today. Let's just see, what does it really take to make this thing happen? Because there's no denying that inside of you, the only thing that's going to make you happy in the year ahead and the decades ahead is going to be having you have an experience where on a regular basis, you feel like your life is making progress. If there's one thing I teach, and I want to remind you of it, it's really simple. Getting things is not going to make you happy. That's good news in a tough economy. It's a good reminder. It doesn't matter what you get. Doesn't matter whether it be money or opportunity. All those things might excite you for the moment. Even a relationship, as magnificent it may be, might be exciting for a while. But if you don't keep growing, that relationship isn't going to stay exciting. So the secret to real happiness is progress. Progress equals happiness. And if we can make progress on a regular basis, we feel alive. And that's why at the beginning of the year, we get this thing like, okay, I can have this fresh start. I could really do what my soul desires. I could expand. I could grow. I could improve. I could change. Or maybe better than change, I could progress. See, think about that. Progress is an aliveness to it, doesn't it? You don't have to work at changing. People say all the time now, well, I'm working on changing. Don't worry about it. You don't have to work on changing. Change is automatic. Your body's going to change whether you want it or not as the years go by. And no matter how hard you work, there's going to be some changes going on there. The economy is going to change no matter what you want it to do. The weather is going to change. Relationships are going to change. Everything in life is always changing. We don't have to work on change. Change is automatic, but progress is not. So if you want to make real progress, then you really got to look at your life in a different way. You got to say, I got to take control of this process and not just hope it's going to work out like people do who make a resolution. Because really, isn't that what they're really doing at the beginning of the year? They're saying, well, here's my resolution.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Monday night webinar. And it's good to be here. I'm just going to start this webinar by doing a few announcements. And I'm going to get those announcements out of the way really quickly. So this is a bit like the starter before the main course. So here's if you can see this slide, let me just make sure you can see this first slide. Okay, so the first slide is about the next forthcoming event in Scotland. Hopefully just type in the chat bar if you can see that slide. If you haven't yet booked in for the 3rd of December, there's great, thanks a lot. There's an event coming up with Leanne and Mike and Gilroy, and it's a new venue, which is St David's Church, 41 S Bank Road, Dalkeith, which is on the outskirts of Edinburgh. And there you can see you need to go to scotland.the10steps.com to book in if you haven't already booked in. So that's this coming Saturday, I think. Please arrive at 10:30 and should be an amazing event. So if you're anywhere in the northeast of England or in Scotland, north of the border, then or in northwest, I recommend that you get along to Scotland on Saturday. So that's with Leanne and Mikey. Next workshop this coming Saturday. Next Monday, I have another speaker, this time Mr. Gary Watson, who some of you will certainly know, some of you may not know, but he's actually my upline. He's not my sponsor as such, but he's my upline. And for those of you that don't know his history in the business, he went from working in a fish factory for £150 a week to 100,000 a year in Clean Easy. So from 150 quid a week on a production line in a factory to 100 grand a year. And next Monday at 9 o'clock, he's going to tell you how he did it. Or more importantly, he's probably going to tell you why he did it. So come in next Monday 9 o'clock, should be fantastic. So that's the next big webinar next Monday. And then I also want to tell you about the biggest event that's coming up in the calendar, which is really, really crucial, is the showcase on the 7th of January. And in fact, just type in the chat bar if you've already booked your ticket. If you've already booked your ticket for the showcase, just put a Y. There we go. Loads of people. I would hope that everybody on this webinar has booked into the showcase in January. If you haven't been to the ICC, that's the International Conference Centre in Birmingham, Broad Street, right in central Birmingham. If you haven't been to a Clean Easy showcase before, it's actually free. So it isn't even going to cost you anything to get in. Yep, you can do that. Ring the service centre or just order your ticket and then they'll credit the invoice. You can do it that way. Just go on the website and do that if you don't want to ring them up. Just order your ticket anyway and you can get a credit for the invoice. But it's the single most important thing that you can do in order to build your income in the next 6 months would be to be in Birmingham in January. We'll certainly be there. We haven't missed one. So we'll be there. And there'll be thousands of other people there. But all of the successful people will be there. So there's a big clue. Success does leave clues. And that's a massive one, is to make sure that you join all the successful people on the 7th of January in Birmingham for the showcase. And you will find out various things at that showcase, including where their next 5-star destination is, who the distributor of the year is, etc. So it'll be a fantastic event. So that's the hors d'oeuvres out of the way. That's the starter out of the way. Let's get on with the main course. So tonight we have, speaking on the webinar, one of only 15 premier distributors in the Clean Easy program, and someone who is in the top 10 earners in the whole business. And it is, of course, Peter Rea. And you'll see there, he's also a best-selling author. He wrote One Life, One Shot, which I recommend you read. And also, he's done various things in the business. He was Distributor of the Year, 2007. He's a BMW winner. But he's hugely successful, huge business, been on multiple trips all around the place, too many to mention. I first saw him on one in Malaysia about 15, 16 years ago. So tonight he's going to talk you through his experience of the business, and please do get some note paper. We are hoping to record this webinar, but sometimes it doesn't always record brilliantly, so make some notes about what's being said because you won't remember it all. Please do take some notes and you'll get immense value from the next kind of 40 minutes. So I'm going to hand you over now to Premier Distributor Peter Rea.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope you're absolutely tickety-boo. It's fantastic to be on here and see you all tonight. Can I just firstly ask if you can see me, if you can hear me, and you can see that I have in fact loaded the very, very first slide onto the screen. So I'm looking for 3 Ys, please, in the chat, that I know that you can do all 3. Hey, Fantastic. So Neil, thank you very much for that lovely warm welcome. And I just want to firstly say, for the benefit of all the new people, now, I've been around this business a wee while, okay, 16 years to be precise. So can I just ask, if you haven't yet ever heard me talk, can you just put in the chat bar, no, that you haven't heard me talk before? Or if you have heard me talk, can you just put yes? I'm just curious to know if there's any, people on tonight who haven't yet had a chance to hear what I've got to say. All right, wow, brilliant, great stuff. Well, I guess for those people who haven't heard me talk, your luck had to run out sometime. So it's just absolutely fantastic. So I joined this business back on the 16th of March 2000. Okay, and I'll tell you what, it was a Thursday afternoon. It was 5:15, and I remember it specifically. I really do. And those were the days when we had to sit down and there was a proper registration form. And Gary Watson, my sponsor, who you've heard Neil talk about, sat next to me, and we filled in on the dotted line, okay? And I remember that was the very, very first day that I considered, that I was doing it something really, really positive about making a material difference for the life that I wanted to lead. Because when I first got involved in this business, our circumstances were rather desperate, okay? We were really struggling financially. We were living in a council house. We were falling behind in our responsibilities. I was buying my children's Christmas presents from car boot sales. I was being taken to court for 28 quid because I couldn't afford to pay the telephone bill. And it was really quite a desperate set of circumstances. I could go on, but honestly, you get the point. We had secret knocks at the door, so we knew it was like someone who knew us, and it wasn't a bailiff. Or we had a special ring on the telephone. So it would ring, and then we'd let it, then it'd ring back again, and then we'd let it go. We had 3 rings, okay? And we couldn't make, much of the situation other than the best we could, if you like. And then when an opportunity came along to get involved in Clean Easy, and my sponsor, Gary Watson, showed me what was possible, I was completely in. I saw the incomes, I saw what was possible, and I just thought, right, where do I sign? Okay? Now, the things that I have learned in 16 years, oh my goodness, it is immense, and it's immense, the things that I've learned. And the more you earn, and I absolutely know that to be true. Write that down. The more you learn, the more you will earn. And if I was to say to you right now, what do I actually believe that you need to be able to do and have to be able to make this business work? It's about what I'm about to explain next, okay? Jake, I'm just picking up on your comment there. Quite often it's not freezing for everyone. It could well just be your internet connection at this time of night, okay? So just, try your very best. Maybe log out, log back in, do something like that. So I shall keep going. So guys, I want you to imagine this as a situation, okay? I want you to imagine, being sat in front of an interviewer when you've, in the past, I'm sure we can all relate to that, we've all gone for interviews in the past, okay? And you've been sat there, and, the interviewer's done their bit, and then they come to you and say, so tell me a little bit about yourself. And do you know what, guys? That's the bit, isn't it? That's the bit where you've got the opportunity to really sell yourself, to that interviewer with the hopes of securing the employment. Now, if anyone can relate to ever having been in a situation where you have an opportunity to kind of reach out in an interview, just give me a yes in the chat bar, please, just so that I know that I'm not the only one who's ever experienced this. Okay? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely par for the course. Okay? Now, here's what your likely response would be. It would probably go something like this. Well, look, I've got to tell you, I am extremely hard working, and I'm so motivated. You can completely rely on me. Do you know, I'm one of these type of people who I'm just a self-starter. I'm very organized, and I'm loyal. When I work for a company, if they give me an opportunity, loyalty, 100%. I am a committed individual. You can rely on me. I'm dependable. And, you give me a challenge, and I'll rise up. I love challenges, and I've got flexibility. So if you need me to work more hours, I'm more than happy to facilitate that. I absolutely would not let you down. If you will only but give me this opportunity, I will be a model employee. Okay, now we've all got our own ways of putting ourselves forward, but I'm pretty sure, can I have a yes in the chat bar if you can relate to having said some of those things, if not all of those things? Can I have a yes in the chat bar, please? Just to confirm that you can relate to how you reach out and how you tell people you are going to be hardworking, loyal, motivated, committed, reliable, dependable. And if you think about it, and here comes my message. We are all prepared to offer and make those and make that promise to that employer for the promise of perhaps a job that, if we are very lucky, might give you £200 to £300 a week. And you're going to work that job for 20, 30, 40 years and give the best of every day, which is the daytime, the best of you, which is your youth, for 20, 30, 40 years for a job that you're probably, you're selling yourself, but it's not your dream job. You're just doing it because you need to be able to earn some money. And if they would only give you that, in other words, you are giving you and the best of you and the best of every day to a boss for the promise of a few £100 a week, if you're lucky. Now, there's the first point I want to make, okay? But the second point I want to make is this. Why don't you promise to put that level of commitment that you can see on the screen into your own business? Because that's what's required. Because, the day I joined Clean Easy, there was people quitting Clean Easy telling me that it didn't work. You're never going to make money on doing that. I did it, but it didn't work, didn't this, didn't that. Now, so the people were like losing the opportunity. I was finding the opportunity. They were telling me it didn't work, and I was stepping into it, hoping for it to work. Okay, so what have I realized? It's not the business that doesn't work, it's the individual. Now, it isn't just about working hard, because you've got to work hard on the right things. You've got to work hard on the right things, okay? But one thing you must do is you absolutely must employ yourself, okay? You've got to employ yourself and work like you're being paid 100 grand a year, okay? Work like as if your boss is looking over the shoulder every minute of the day, and make sure that you are productive and you are doing the things that you need to do, okay? So, treat it like a job. Now, I've been saying for years, treat it like a business, but then I realized most people have never run their own business, so they don't quite know what that means. So treat it like a job means that you've got to do it whether you want to do it or not, okay? You've got to come on the webinar, because if you don't come on the webinar, let's say you get sacked. You've got to communicate with your sponsor, because if you don't, you get sacked. If you're not working a retail plan and doing a certain amount of retail, if you don't do a certain amount of retail, you get sacked. If you don't step into the recruitment side and you're not sharing the opportunity, and if you didn't do that, you got sacked. If you didn't come onto the webinar, you got sacked. If you didn't come along to the workshops, you got sacked. If you didn't come along to the big events, you got sacked. Now, I think you're getting the gist here, okay? This is not me saying to you, you got to do this, you got to do that. This is me saying, when you remove the choice and the decision, okay, that's when the magic happens. Because now you are, now you are employing yourself, okay? You are the boss. You're the managing director. And I've got to tell you this, guys, okay? You can step into this business in a desperate set of circumstances. And I want to tell you about, that even though my circumstances were so desperate, I still nearly quit on day one. And, there's going to be some times when you will think about quitting. But you've got to remember, quit to go back to doing what? Because we forget that. In the moment, we forget that. In fact, we often take tension-relieving activities. On my first day when we started, this is before there was an online site, it was catalogs. It was only catalogs. And I'd been successful in a previous life, and then I'd lost everything, and then my circumstances had really gone down. And Gary Watson showed me the incomes that were available, and I thought, wow, that's amazing. And I said to Claire, this is our way back. We can do this. I'm gonna do this. And you know what, guys? I put my catalogue bag over my shoulder and I started walking down the path. And you know what? I couldn't get out the gate. I couldn't get out the gate. It wasn't that the gate was locked, okay? It wasn't locked, all right? I couldn't get out of here because this was locked. My brain was locked. All of a sudden, this little voice in my ear started saying, is this what your life's come to? Doing this clean, easy thing. Going out, walking around the streets, putting catalogues out. And then this other little voice said, don't listen to that negative Nelly. You know that you can earn a fortune. You're running your own home shopping franchise. You can make a fortune doing this. Your sponsor's earning £4,500 a month doing this business. So you tell that negative person to shut up. Then another little voice would go, have you always been so gullible? Do you believe everything you've been said? They probably weren't real certificates. He probably made them up himself. And this was going on. I was in complete turmoil, okay? And in that moment, because I felt so uncomfortable, what if somebody sees us? What if somebody I know recognizes us? What if somebody says, well, I thought you used to be a millionaire. What are you out in the streets putting catalogues out for? Okay, so in that moment, I had so much turmoil going on in there that I nearly quit. Why would I consider quitting when I'm in such a desperate set of circumstances? You know, and I absolutely need to make this work. Why would I consider quitting? Because in the moment you forget about all the other stuff, you just feel about that feeling of uncomfortableness. And you think, if I could just remove that feeling of uncomfortableness, okay, I'll feel better. So don't allow your feelings in the moment, no matter how uncomfortable you might feel, if it's something you haven't done for the first time or you've got the wrong perspective on it. Because the bottom line is, you know, we're running our own home shopping franchise. That's what we're doing. We're business owners. We're entrepreneurs. We're not catalogue putter outers, if you know what I mean. And I know that the business is about the exciting side, which is online now, you know. So, you know, you're not just playing on Facebook. You're building an empire on Facebook. Okay, so you've got to get your perspective right. So be careful that when you do have these little moments of doubt, where you're questioning yourself, can I do this? You know, what if I try and what if I fail? What if I, you know, if you experience that, just remember, you've got to tell that little voice inside your head that's highlighting your weaknesses and undermining your confidence. You've got to tell it to just shut up, okay? And you've got to bow to experience. Other people are making it work, and so can you. So that was really like, you know, one of the reasons why I nearly quit on day one. And I was so desperate because I forgot about the desperation and I was focusing on the moment of feeling uncomfortable, okay? So don't allow that to happen to you. So when I joined this business, guys, and I think this is really, really important, you see, you heard that Neil mention earlier that Gary Watson was probably going to tell you how he did it. And then Neil quickly rephrased that and said, well, actually, he's probably going to tell you why he did it. You see, I think all the how-tos are useless without a strong enough why-to. You see, you know, if you look at this screen here now, it says, you know, on a scale of, like, say, 1 to 10, you know, if you kind of think, well, it would be nice to make this work, and it would be nice, you know, that's like a 1 to 3 scale of intensity, okay? If you think, no, it's really important, this does need to work, it definitely needs to work for me, I'm definitely, you know, I'm prepared to do it. And if you think about it, it's important to lose weight, isn't it? It's important to keep fit, but we don't stick to it. So, you know, important is good, but it still runs the risk of just not being enough. You see, it's kind of got to be do or die, you know, and that's where I was when I started this business. It was do or die. It was, you know, it was up there. It was like right up there on the scales of intensity, because you see, I was sick to death of being sick to death. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I needed, okay, I wasn't perfect, and I needed to be reminded sometimes, you know, and I needed the help and support of my sponsor. But I was sick and tired of being bloody skint. Something needed to change. So my why power, okay, was so powerful, and it needs to be, because if you don't have that level of intensity, the first time something comes along that's like a little bit frustrating or a little bit disappointing or makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable, it will derail you. There's no two ways about it. You know, it will derail you. You'll never have the level of determination or tenacity to overcome little challenges. You know, if you don't have a high enough level of intensity on your reason why you need to do it. Okay, so that's really, really important. Now, I want to tell you a bit of a story here, guys. Okay, really, really quickly on this, because when we were, first started this business, I was so determined, that I wanted to build a team, because that's where it's at, isn't it? That's where the big incomes lie. So determined to build a team. I had a little £300 Ford Escort motor car. I had baldy front tyres. I photocopied tax disc. Okay, it had a slip-in clutch. It had a leaky petrol tank. It was a right shed. It cost me 300 quid, so you can get an idea of it. And in the old days, we used to have to jump in the car and go to see people. It wasn't just online and have a look at the information. We used to jump in the car, okay, and literally go and drive to see people. So this was about a 45-minute drive. I was so desperate to want to build a team and change my circumstances. Okay, so what I did was, I was always told by my sponsor, if you're going to go, ring the guy up and confirm the appointment. Of course, I knew better, you know what I mean? I thought, no, the guy's already said. And if I ring him, he might change his mind, so I'm just going to go, okay? So I jump in the car, and I'm driving down the estate, and I get onto the bottom road. Now, as you go through Rowlands Gill, it's a flat, and then it comes, after about a quarter of a mile, you hit a little bit of the country road, and then it starts twisting and turning downhill, okay, down towards Swalwell. So anyway, I'm driving along the flat, and all of a sudden, okay, the car started juddering like this. And I looked, and I didn't realise, no, I had no fuel left in the car, okay? I had no fuel in the car because we had no money, and I went into my pocket like that, and I had £3. That's all I had, £3 in my pocket. Now, I had my shirt and tie on, and all of a sudden, the car comes to a complete standstill. You talk about embarrassing, flipping it. So I get out the car, and I think for a moment, what am I going to do? Do you know what I did, guys? I got out the car, and it wasn't power steering. It was like trying to turn a tank. And I started pushing the car through Rowlands Gill for about 800 yards. Because I reckon if I could get to the hill, okay, where it started to go down and along the twisty roads, there's a petrol station on the left-hand side called the Red Spot Garage, okay? If I could just get to that, I could get the £3 worth of fuel in. So I'm pushing it like hell, guys. And do you know what? The sweat is dripping off us. It's dripping off us, okay? And I'm pushing it and pushing it. I look over my shoulder like that. There's about 15 cars behind us. You talk about embarrassing. This is in the village where I live, all right? And I'm pushing it like hell. And I'm getting closer to the edge of the hill. And I'm pushing it, and I just get to the hill, and I get it over, and I'm running like hell. I am absolutely running like hell because I'm trying to get as much speed up to get down the hill before I jump in the car. You know how it works. So I'm pushing it. I'm pushing it down, okay? And all of a sudden, I quickly jump into the car like that now to try and get control of the car, and I whack me head off the side of the pillar on the car. I see stars. I'm hanging in the car like this. Okay, now it's getting faster and faster, and now I'm frightened about going around the corners because it's got like knee power steering. I'm trying to turn it like that with all my power. Okay, and now I'm frightened to brake, and I'm kind of screeching around the corners like this. And anyway, I get all the way to the petrol station. Okay, about like 50 yards, and then it's gone 15, 10, 5, and it just stopped about 5 yards before. And I had to push it at the petrol station. I put £3 in. Okay, I was soaking. I thought, I can't get in the appointment like this, man. I was soaking. Honestly, I looked like an illegal coming through immigration. I really did. And then what I did was, I drove all the way to Forest Hall, and I knocked on the door. What do you think happened? Bloke wasn't in. The bloke wasn't in. Now, there was a lesson. Firstly, I should have listened to my sponsor, and I should have rang. Success leaves clues. That's the first thing. But what is the biggest message that I want you to take away from that? And it was my level of tenacity. My level of tenacity. You see, I was so determined I wanted to make this business work. For me, it was whatever it took. Most people would have probably left the car at the side of the road and walked the 15 minutes back home, okay, and sorted it out and got a petrol can and said, oh, that's a pot with it. But I was so determined. You've got to have tenacity, guys. You've got to have tenacity. And that's what, that was what was given anyone the real idea that I was going to be a star in this business, because it's the tenacity, it's the work ethic. You just can't get past it, okay? So you can see on the screen here, guys, for me, that just typifies how I felt about this opportunity. It was like, get out me way, I'm coming through. I am going to build this business come what may. That was a picture of me. I was speaking at an event down in London, and I ripped all the ligaments in my knee, and I was hobbling on crutches. I couldn't drive, and I hobbled my way to the station and on the train and to the event and everything. And that just is, again, it's just demonstrating the level of tenacity required to build this business. Now, I don't know why you're building this business. I don't know how important it is for you to build this business. But what I do know, okay, guys, is for me, it wasn't an option. It had to work. And I was going to employ myself, and I was going to go out there, and I was going to be the hardest working person that I knew. You've got to do the same, okay, guys? And I want to tell you something about my debt letters, because I had plenty of them. I don't know if any of you guys have got any or had any or anything like that. People chasing you up for money, bounce direct debits and things like that. Well, let me tell you, guys, I decided to do something with them to motivate myself, because I was so sick of it all. I actually got those letters and I actually stuck them on the doors in our house, because nobody came in, because I was embarrassed to invite anyone. If you invite people to your house and maybe just put them in the bedroom on the door, so in the morning you get up, you see them, they're in your face, because they motivated me. Because that motivated me to get off my sorry backside and get out there and get the job done. So wherever I turned in our house, there was a reminder. You've heard the expression, put it in the back of your mind. Well, this is putting it to the front of your mind, okay? Very important, guys, okay? It helps to keep you focused and motivated. And just remember, when you feel like quitting, you need to think about why you started. And it's really important. And there was the day that Claire and I were cutting up all our credit cards and all that, like, you know, we paid the debt back, and we cut up all the credit cards and we photographed it, and as a way of capturing that moment and immortalizing it, okay, for our Clean Easy story, okay, guys? Really, really important. So, you know, really, your why is just the vision that you've got for you and your family and what you want your life to look like, you know, by getting stuck into this business. So I was very clear on what my vision was. Now, what is vision? Well, really, it's the ability to see that which is yet to be. Okay, if you think about it, where you are now, you know, is not where you want to stay. You want to be somewhere else. So you have to have a vision of what you want it to look like. Okay, and that's exactly what we had. Now, I was going to tell you a story about Larry the Lamb. Sorry, Larry the Snail, but I'm also conscious of the time. So no, I will tell you. I'll just be really quick with it. Okay, so I want to give you a little bit of an example about vision. All right, so this is a little snail called Larry. And you know what? He had a vision. Cheers, Neil. He had a great vision. Okay, but you know what? Nobody else understood his vision. Isn't that the way it is in life? Okay, you know, you see something, you want to go for it, but other people don't necessarily see and feel your passion and energy and determination and focus, and they don't understand what it is that you really, really want. And Larry had this vision, and his vision was to be able to get to the top of the big cherry tree at the bottom of the meadow to get hold of the beautiful, juicy, big, red, succulent cherries. And that was his vision. And you know what? All the other animals in the meadow, they laughed at Larry and they thought he was an absolute lunatic. And it was one early, cool spring morning, and Larry set off on his journey. And you know, there was a little bird that flew down from that cherry tree, flew all the way down, and flew down to the ground level, and said to Larry, "Larry, what are you doing?" He said, "Don't you realize everybody is laughing at you? You know, they all think you're an absolute lunatic. And I've got to tell you, and I'm really sorry to burst your bubble, Larry, but there are no cherries at the top of the cherry tree. There are no cherries. There's none there. And your goal is to get up there and get the big cherries. There's none there. And you need to know that. And Larry the snail turned and looked at the little sparrow and he said, I know that, Mr. Sparrow. I know there's no cherries on the cherry tree. And the sparrow looked a little bit confused. And Larry turned around and said, but by the time I get there will be. You see, the next 6 months, 12 months going to happen anyway. Larry knew that he was slow. He realized how long it was going to take him to get from where he was to get all the way to the tree, to get up the tree. And he knew that by the time he factored in that it was going to take him to get there, get up the tree, he knew it was going to be summertime. Okay, and he knew by the time he got there, the cherries would be there because he had the vision. He had the vision to know exactly what it was that he wanted, and he had a plan in order to go about achieving it. And you've got to have that vision for you in your business. What do you want to happen? Now, guys, I'm going to show you something, because this was me, having my vision about not wanting my life to be in that house and live there any longer than I needed to. Now, there's nothing wrong with the house, but it wasn't my vision. It's not what I joined for. I wanted to live in a lovely house. I had a vision of how that house would look, but I realized it was going to take time to get to the top of the cherry tree. So I realized that there was going to be intermediaries. So I couldn't just go from that house to go to that house. I couldn't just go from being in the meadow to the top of the cherry tree. So I realized there needed to be a little bit of road to be traveled. So what we decided to do was, if we could do really well in our Clean Easy business, what we could do is we could buy that council house. That's what we could do. We could buy the council house, then we could do up the council house, and we could make it really special. And we had a vision for how that was going to look. Okay. And I want to share with you what that vision was exactly like, because we made it exactly the way that we envisaged it would be. And we turned that house into that house. That is the same house. I'll go back and let you look at that. There it was there. And we turned it into that. Vision. Okay, guys? Vision. We knew exactly that we wanted stone under the windows. We wanted UPVC. We were going to put a roof on where the flat roof was. We're going to do the garden. We're going to put a wall up where the fence was. Do you know what? We made that the best looking house in the street. What did that? Our Clean Easy income did that. We paid $34,000 for that house, and we sold it for $160,000, all because of the money that we made in our Clean Easy business, the vision that we had. It was just amazing. You've got to have a vision, guys. And you know what, guys? There was me £300 strapper of a motor car. Okay, there was the car. Was that me vision? No, that was me temporary circumstances. Just remember that, okay, guys, that, your circumstances now doesn't define you, okay? That's just where you are right now. That's where Larry was in the meadow. It's not the cherry tree. It's not the goal. It's not the vision, okay? And then we go out and get this lovely, BMW X6, okay? The vision that we had. Moving it on. We have visions in so many different areas of our life. Look, that's outside of our house. Okay, there's me digging up the grass because I had a vision of putting a conservatory up and putting that paving there and having a nice patio area, guys. You've got to have a vision, okay? It's really, really important. Here's another one. Look, there's the garden, top left, okay? There's the garden. Look at it. The vision was, and then we made a lovely play area for the bairns to play with, and look at there, and the conservatory and the grass and the stepping stones and dining outside. Vision. Okay, guys? Absolute vision. So very, very important. And income-wise, we earned £400 in our first month, But that wasn't the long-term vision. It was short-term vision. That was the exact amount we set out to earn. I said to my sponsor, I need to earn £400 in my first month to pay for my rent because I'm behind and they're threatening us with eviction. How do I make £400? Gary showed me and I stuck to the plan. I didn't just do it for the first week and then think, oh, I had a disappointing week. Oh, that's it. I did it because I needed it. I had a strong reason why. It wasn't just it would be nice. It's important that I earn the money. It was life or death. It was either that or I was down the Salvation Army with the family living at the Salvation Army. So, but we had a vision for £400, but that was my life. But this was closer where we wanted to be. Look, there's 3 income certificates in a row. How would you like to earn £25,500 in 12 weeks? I asked the question, okay? How did that happen? Because the promise I would have made to a boss to get the job, I just made it to us. Hard working. I was the hardest working person I knew. I was the most loyal. You couldn't, if you cut my wrists, Zeds would come out. Clean, easy Zeds. Okay? Motivated every single day. Jumped out of bed at it. First up, last to bed. Committed. Flipping heck. Whatever it took. The motor car, push it through the village, sweat. Okay? Banging me head on the thingy. Committed. Reliable as clockwork. Dependable. Self-starter. I was going to do this anyway, whether I had a sponsor or not. I saw the opportunity. Okay, guys? So what I'm saying is, all this was because of vision, a strong reason why, and because I employed myself. You haven't got a choice of whether you come on the webinars. You have, really. But if you really want to be successful, you haven't got a choice. If you really want to be successful, you haven't got a choice whether you go to the showcase. You've got to be there. It really is that simple. Because that's what we did. Okay? And that's why this happened. And do you know what, guys? That was the 3 Series BMW that the company gave us. That vehicle's worth £25,000. Okay, we got that given for free. Okay, and do you know what, guys? The day that rolled up, and it come off that there, I stood there, and Claire was next to me, and I got a little bit emotional because let me tell you, that just didn't happen by chance. That was through choice. That was sacrifices. That was the up first in the morning, home on an evening, dealing with the naysayers, the people who laughed at us. You don't want to be doing that, okay? For all the people who never turned up when I got to the house, when I, was going to do an appointment, for all the people who laughed at us, who said, you can't make that work, what are you doing that clean, easy thing for, okay? For all the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, okay, the priorities and all that stuff, guys. When that rolled off there, Claire said to me, you deserve that. And do you know what I said? I know. I do. You see, I can look at myself in the mirror every day and know that I did what I needed to do for me and my family. And that's the point I want to make. Maybe you're not the most motivated person. Maybe you're a little bit slack as a bag of hammers. Well, if you can't do it for you, what about doing it for your family? Because when I got married, I said for better or for worse, and I wasn't just going to lie down the minute it got challenged, okay? I was going to make sure that my family had the very best. And if all I had to do was work my nuts off to be able to change our life, then I thought that was a small price to pay. So, you think about it, guys. Look at this here, look. There's Larry. There's the juicy cherries. Step 1, where are you now? You've got to take stock. Where are you now in relation to where you want to be? You've got to take stock. Where do you want to go? So this is your goal. You might want to get up to gold distributor. Maybe you're not at gold right now. So where are you now? Well, you might be just at 10%. Where do you want to go? I want to get to gold distributor. How are you going to get there? Well, you're going to slither up the meadow, up the tree, and all the way to the top. Okay? So you know that you're going to follow the system. You're going to communicate with your sponsor. You're going to come on the webinars. So all that there is kind of like a prerequisite. But number 4, what are you going to do? What are you actually going to do? What are you going to do? The productive things. What? Because reading a book is essential, but that's not what's actually going to get you to goal. It's the work you put in, the recruitment activities, the lead generating activities. It's the customers. It's the orders that you're processing. Okay. What are you going to do? Start today, keep going until summer. I have a plan, I'm working it daily. That was Larry every day. He was working his plan, he was getting closer. He knew it was going to take a month, but he's working a plan. If he took the first few slithers through the meadows and looked and thought, bloody hell, that's a long way away, pot with that, I'm going to stop. Can you see how that would have been so wrong? Okay, in step 5, how are you doing? Take stock. You've got to make progress. To get from 10% to gold, you've got to go 13% first, then 15%, then 18%, then 21%, then gold and beyond. Okay, guys? And then obviously you're going to be celebrating that achievement. Okay, so it's really, really important. I don't have time to go through all those things there in great detail, but I'm going to skirt through them. Some people think I don't have time. Well, if it's important enough, you'll find the time. You know, some people might think, well, you know, my results are a little bit slow. Stop being so impatient. Do more. Oh, I'm a little bit frustrated at the moment. Well, if you're not frustrated, then you're not trying hard enough. That's normal. Frustration is normal. But you can't be frustrated at the work that you're not doing. Oh, I can't recruit anybody. Well, what are you actually doing? Well, I'm not actually doing very much. Well, what are you flipping moaning about that you can't build a team when you're not even doing the things you need to do to build a team? Okay. Well, you know, I'm not sure if I can do this. Just get out and get some results so that you know that it works, you know, and that'll quell any doubts you've got. Yeah, I know, but it's too hard, isn't it? I wished it was a little bit easier. Look, are you saying you're not worth the effort? That's the question. Are you saying you're not worth the effort because others are doing it? I know, but, you know, I recruited someone and they quit straight away, or I didn't get a very good pickup, or I got banned on Facebook. So you've had a bad experience. Well, get over it. Or you can allow it to affect your life. Okay? I know, but like, I always go here on a such and such, and I've got the bench, I've got this to do, I've got that to do. You know, guys, I've got to tell you, right, success is rarely convenient. Honestly, success is rarely convenient, okay? So if it's a little bit of an inconvenience, well, so's being skint, all right? So short-term pain for long-term gain. I know, but it takes too long to get to the income level that I want. It's got to take is like 12 months, 24 months or whatever. Guys, you'll get quicker. You get quicker, you get more competent, you get more confident, okay? Remember, you're doing this for you. You're not doing it for a boss. All right, so, you know, are you worth the effort, like I've said before? So very, very, very important, okay? And do you know what, guys? By us getting really, really tucked into the business, this happened. Magazines wanting to do stories about us, you know, about rags to riches and things like that. I thought, you know what, they are so shallow, because when things were going bad, the only sort of letters and communications we were getting was from flipping people threatening with, you know. And then all of a sudden, when you start doing good, oh, they want to write stories about you and tell you how wonderful you are. I thought, you're flipping mad, I don't know. But you know, great, really, you know, to be fair, guys, you know, lovely. And we've got all those articles, got them all down here. Okay, guys, all got them in folders down here. Great to show people, real sense of pride, you know. So it's just awesome what can be achieved, you know, if you really are prepared to give it time, you know. And I'm coming to a close now, so there's not much left, guys. You'll be pleased to know. But I really, really do believe this one, okay? If you want what others have, you've got to be prepared to do what others won't. You see, if you think about it, whenever you're faced with a dilemma, shall I do me posts tonight or shall I just have a night off? What do you think the majority of people would do? Honestly, the majority of people take tension-relieving activities. I'll just give it a miss tonight. Oh, no, but and then Birmingham. Oh, but it's a long way, you know, down to Birmingham. What do you think most people would do when they're thinking, oh, I don't know whether I should go or not? Most people won't go, okay? So if you want what others have got, which is the nice things, you've got to be prepared to do what others won't. So when everyone else is, you know, whinging off and crying off, then what you need to do is you need to do the opposite. So when everyone's zigging, you've got to be zagging. All right, guys? So if you want what others have got, you've got to be prepared to do what others won't. You've got to book your tickets for the conference. You've got to come on the webinars. You've got to get a plan, okay? You know, you've got to have tenacity, okay? You've got to reshuffle your priorities and all that stuff, guys, okay? It's really, really important, okay? And I want to finish off on this slide because do you know what? When we were all younger, We all had big dreams and aspirations. Maybe it's the house we wanted to live in, the cars we wanted to drive, the lifestyle that we wanted to be able to enjoy. And somewhere along the line, life kind of kicks it out of you. Okay, guys, and you start shrinking your dreams and your aspirations to meet your income. And I just got to tell you this, guys, you know what? Your dreams are not for sale. They are your dreams, and you can achieve them. And this vehicle can give you what you want if you'll only be prepared to accept that you've got to learn the business. You're going to need to communicate. You're going to need to learn some stuff. You've got to give it your best shot. You've got to employ yourself, and you've got to have a little bit of stickability, a bit of determination, and you've got to know you're going to have some frustrations and challenges, but they're normal. But you've got to ask yourself, are you worth it? And my guess is you absolutely are worth it, because each and every one of you are amazing human beings, and you haven't seen the best of you yet, and this business can help to bring it out in you if you'll only give yourself a chance. Guys, that's me done. I want to say thanks ever so much for having me on tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I wish you all the success that you're prepared to work for.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, Peter. Brilliant content. I'm just going to summarize really, really quickly what he said. He said, the more you learn, the more you earn. He also said his brain was locked. I've never experienced that. His brain was locked. And he said he had that thought where he said, you know, is this what my life has come to? And I think we've all had days like that, actually. Everybody experiences moments of doubt. Everybody. But one of the things he talked about was your reason why. And he talked about a scale of intensity in your reason why. And he said, do you remember that thing where he said 1 to 3 was nice? Yeah, I'd be quite nice to have that goal. Or 4 to 8, it was like important. Or 9 to 10, it was like do or die. And he was do or die. Yeah, and that's the difference. And he talked about tenacity and having the fight and keeping going, you know. And he said also that your why is your vision. Your why equals your vision. And all of this information is really crucially important. So I want to say a big, big thank you to Peter for coming on and sharing his experience and his wisdom with us. It was a fantastic webinar, and I know you'll have got immense value from that. If you have people in your team that were not on here tonight, hopefully we can post the video of this webinar in the group tomorrow. And please do take the time to watch it again. I recommend you watch it again, take some notes, and do what he said. Get a plan. Take stock of where you are, where you want, decide where you want to get to, make a plan, and then just keep doing it. It was a fantastic webinar. I'm sure you'll all agree. And thanks again to Peter for coming on. And we will see you all again next Monday, where we'll have Gary Watson, who's Peter's upline, and you'll be amazed again, I'm sure. So that's next Monday. Gary Watson, thank you very much for coming on. And we'll see you all again soon. I'll play you out with some kind of video. Cheers.